Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Well, welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. My name is Joseph Sangle, and my co-host is Megan Hibbard. How are you doing today? Are you fired up?
Yes.
It's Monday.
It's Monday.
Yes.
Hooray.
and today we mark the start of the month of August. We've made it to the month of August.
I know.
Oh, my goodness. 2/3 of the year.
I blinked.
I don't even want to go back and listen to the pre-COVID podcast and all
we
the
were
amazing,
so naive.
happy hope for everything that's going to happen in the year 2020. And instead, it's all been about a lot of people have moved from, I'm going to thrive in 2022. I'm just going to survive. That's what I would like to do.
Yeah.
That's my goal, is to
We're ready
survive.
for 2021.
Yeah.
Here we come.
So for those of you who listen to the podcast today, we hope that you're thriving. And if that's not your goal, we hope you are surviving. That'll be awesome.
Yes.
Tell everybody what our topic is today on episode number
109.
109.
Yep, we're getting old. Okay, so for today, we're going to talk about student loans. So it's a super popular topic that we get asked a lot on how to deal with student loans. So our question today is, I'm so sick of making student loan payments, easier for me to say. I wish they would just disappear. Do you have any tips that would help me eliminate these loans more quickly?
Yeah, I like it. Megan, you may have heard this if you're a listener. If you watch it on YouTube, you can see it. She kind of stumbled over that, making student load payments. And
I did that on purpose.
You view it as a load of something, which will be discussed by others later. But it does feel like a load, a heavy load for many. And so we're going to help. We're going to help those of you who have student loans. You're driving today. You want to make them disappear. We're going to give you some magic tricks for making them disappear.
Yeah.
Or we're just going to give some really practical tips that will seem like magic afterwards.
We're very practical here.
Tell everybody about this month's featured resource.
Yes. So new month, a new featured resource. So our featured resource for this month is the I Was Broke, Now I'm Not online study. So you can instantly access a 6-session online study and receive a copy of I Was Broke, Now I'm Not for only $20 plus free shipping to the U.S. destinations. So this study is extremely practical, action-oriented, and biblically based. You'll be inspired to take charge of your finances, all from the comfort of your home. Who doesn't love that? And you can do this as a virtual group study, maybe via Zoom or whatever your preferred method is, or you can do it individually if it's something that you and your family want to do. So just visit iwasbrokenowimnot.com/online to learn more.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we really hope you'll take advantage of that offer. It is extremely practical, and it's the fundamentals of money. So giving, saving, investing, debt, management of the rest, budgeting, all those things is taught in that. So hope you'll check it out. iwasbrokenowimnot.com/online. But now you know what time it is. Let's go.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
This portion of the podcast is sponsored by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not Next Steps section. When you're looking to take your next step with money, start here. All of our favorite banks, investing companies, and money-saving ideas are all located right there. Just go to iwasbrokenowimnot.com and click on Next Steps.
Yes, and so for today's current money events section, I am talking about coronavirus. Now, I know you're wanting to get away from the topic of coronavirus. All of us are. We want it to be something of our past, and it will, of course, be something of our past.
But for now, we're still there.
As we said, we're going to focus these current money events a lot about coronavirus.
Yep.
And it is wreaking havoc across the world for many. Many people hope that during the summer it would go away like the flu and then common cold.
Yep.
It has not happened. Many lives have been lost way too early, and reopening plans have not went in what we call a straight line.
No.
It's kind of like when they have those hurricane projection maps and this like somebody's
looks like
3-year-old
spaghetti.
scribbled with all the colored crayons. That's kind of what's happening. Some states have had to slow down their reopening plans. Others have had to pull back. Still others have went on and moved forward. In my opinion, IMO. And then have you ever see? I am with it.
That is a key phrase.
In my humble opinion, I like that one.
Yeah.
Here are the issues that need to be addressed. Testing needs to be addressed. It takes too long to get a result.
Yeah.
It's taken 4 to 7 or longer days for people to get a result. And as a result, they start feeling better. A lot of them do, or they have no symptom. So they run around town spreading this everywhere. And we need increased access to testing. And so That's a big issue. We have to fix this. We need to be able to get a test where they can get a swab and get an answer right now.
I wish you could do it at home.
I'm serious, right now, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes,
that
something.
would be awesome.
Not days.
Yeah.
Curing. We have to cure it. Treatments are needed to stop the disease in its tracks for those who do contract it. We got to have it.
Yeah.
And they're getting better. They're learning about it, but it's novel. The novel coronavirus. And that novel means new. I don't know why doctors can't say new. They have to say novel. But probably because they write a novel to describe it. And then preventing. Of course, an effective vaccine that stops the virus in its tracks is ideal. Until then, we need to do all we can to prevent its spread. And it really is quite simple. You ready? You ready? I don't know if you brace yourself.
I'm bracing.
Megan, listener. Wear a mask when in public gatherings. I see all this stuff about it's a violation of my rights. I'm like, I am so confused. I thought we wanted to live. And, we got a family friend who by the time this podcast airs probably will have passed away.
Oh, gosh, because of COVID?
They're having to make the decision in the next
wow.
2 days. Been on the ventilator 25 days. Can't get him off of it.
Wow.
It's horrible. And so, you know what? His family believes it's real. Yeah. It is real. Wear a mask. I just went on a family vacation, 8 states. We followed all the rules. Social distanced. We took baths in hand sanitizer, basically.
Yes.
We wore masks. And we successfully went through 8 states, 19 days, no coronavirus. It's quite simple. Wear a mask when in public gatherings, bathe in hand sanitizer, and stay home if you or someone you've been around is sick with it, or you think they might be sick with it. And you might be saying, hey, Joe, I thought this was a podcast about money. Why are you talking about coronavirus and mask? Well, because it's absolutely affecting your money.
Yeah.
The longer this goes on, the larger the impact will be on your money. Jobs are going to go away. As we record this podcast today, jobless claims ticked up. That's not what anybody wanted to hear. The markets went down as a result. That affects your retirement account. Joe, I don't have a retirement account. Well, that gives you an opportunity to buy. But what are you going to buy it with if you don't have a job? And so I say this, wear the mask, social distance, have the hand sanitizer on, and go to work. Lots of people have been working in the grocery stores and everything very successfully, and they've not contracted it. Why? Because they're following really basic protocol.
Yeah.
Buy a cool mask, that makes it look like you're smiling all the time, or makes you look like you have a zebra mouth or a deer running across it, or my daughter's got a little teddy bear one. She likes it a lot, and she looks really cute. And so I would just say this. We want everybody to be safe, and you have personal responsibility in this, and it affects your money. It affects your financial situation. You may think it's just a macroeconomic issue. Trust me, this affects everyone's finances, not just in America, worldwide. And so that's what I wanted to share today is, hey, do your part. Do what is right for your family, what is safe for your family. And we're going to get through this, and let's get testing better, curing better, preventing better. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I feel like until you know somebody personally that's individually affected, like your whole mentality on the subject changes.
Oh, yeah.
In that moment, because you're like, oh, this isn't like somebody from far away has this. It's somebody that I know and love.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. We're in South Carolina, Anderson, South Carolina, worldwide headquarters. I was broke. Now I'm not.
AKA hotspot.
And let me know. We now are a hotspot.
Yeah. We
have not been a hotspot. We are now a hotspot. The ICU's full. They doubled the size of it. It's full. They've tripled it now. It's full.
It's
Hey,
crazy.
look. Now, thankfully, most people are recovering from it. That is great news. But I'm telling you, that's a cost. People are having huge costs related to that with their insurance and everything else. And so I would just encourage everybody, do your part, and we'll get through this money stuff later. But in the meantime, this is what you can do to secure and preserve the future and make sure that things do turn around in an orderly fashion.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that.
All right. So for our success story today, it comes from Riley and Annika, and they said, I just wanted to send you a letter expressing my gratitude for your help to understand how I can win with my personal finances. I enjoy your optimistic outlook and practical advice. Riley shared that they are winning with their money because of what you teach. So that's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. They have $100,000 of equity in their home and plan to pay it off in the next 10 years.
Awesome.
They also are fully funding his Roth IRA each year, taking advantage of his employer's 401k match, and contributing to a 529 for each of their children and are able to give to charitable organizations. His wife stayed home with their children when they were younger, and her frugality helps them pay off student loan debt during this time.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Now, this success story is an amazing success story.
They're doing some work.
Riley and Annika, number one, thank you so much for sharing your story. Again, this podcast is powered by your success, our listener success. I like the fact that he says he likes our optimistic outlook. We want to be optimistic.
And practical.
It is awesome. And I'm positive as a proton and practical. I like the fact that they are going to be able to pay off their house in the next 10 years. They're fully funding their retirement stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Giving money away. That's awesome. One of the things that I think is awesome as we lead into the focus of today's podcast is that his wife's frugality helped them pay off their student loan debt during that time. That is huge. His wife stayed home. It doesn't say whether or not she produced an income. Sounds like the way he's written it that she did not produce an income, yet they were able to pay off their student loan debt while she did not have income. Sounds a lot like what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
So remind everybody about the question that we're going to address.
We are talking about student loans. So our question is, I'm so sick of making student loan payments. I wish they would just disappear. Do you have any tips that would help me eliminate these loans more quickly?
Okay, so let's talk about student loans for a minute. This will be fun. Last questions of Megan that she has not had a chance to ponder.
Oh,
so
just love when you do
did
this.
you graduate with student loan debt?
No.
Did your husband, Jordan, graduate with student loan debt?
Yes.
Okay. So this is unique. I did not know the answers to these questions. I graduated with student loan debt. My Jen did not. And what I have found is that it is about 1 in 2 students graduate with student loan debt. Now let's ask the question. Did you get a full ride scholarship that paid for your education?
I did not.
No. So did your parents help pay for your college education?
Yes.
Yes. So they gave you a gift, right? So I had no money from my parents for my college education. They basically said, hey, your 4 older brothers didn't get that. We're not going to do that. You're on your own. Congratulations.
Equal opportunity.
Yes, equal opportunity. And hey, look, I understand it. Paying for 6 kids' college educations was never in their plan.
Oh, yeah. Would have been pricey.
And as a result, I worked hard, got some scholarships, and the rest I financed with some good old student loans. Now, my bride, her parents helped pay for the majority of hers, and then she worked her way through the rest. And so what I found is that this matters a lot for student loan repayment. Is I knew that I was incurring student loans, so I graduated in 4 years.
Yeah.
I knew that. So I got out of there in 4 years. There's one semester where I got this D in an engineering class. It was so bad.
Whew.
I was so excited about the D, though. It was so bad.
That was like a good
It should have been
thing.
a Z minus. It should have been not an F. It should have been at the end of the alphabet with a minus behind it.
Gosh.
It was so bad. It was so bad back then when they sent grades, they would mail them. You couldn't check them online. They would mail them. And mine showed up the day before Christmas, and I hid it in my chest of drawers of clothes and never even opened it until all my family had left after Christmas to even look at it because I couldn't bring myself to know that I failed.
Did everyone do terrible? Or just, you just
Well,
had a
I went
rough
back to
patch?
the school and said, I need to take this class over, thermodynamics. It's my first semester of mechanical engineering school, so my sophomore year fall semester. And the dean looked at me and says, you don't understand. We failed out half the students in freshman engineering, and we use this class to fail out half of the mechanical engineering students.
Oh, my gosh.
You got a D. He said, so let me help you understand. If you took it again, my bet is you wouldn't get an A based on your track record.
Oh, gosh. Thank you for
And
the
I'm
encouragement.
not sure you would pass. And let me tell you one thing. It will delay your graduation by a whole year. Do you want to finance another year? And he said, by the way, the difference between an A and a D on your GPA is like, it's almost nothing.
Yeah.
And he gave me great advice saying, hey, move on, learn from it, and address it. So I just wanted to say that to say student loans, they remind us of our college career, so to speak. Some listening went on the 5-year plan. Some went on the 6-year plan. Some may have extended it a little longer for a 4-year degree. And as a result, when they see their student loans, they not only see their student loans for the debt they owe, they're reminded that it took a while to get through it. And they're frustrated because they didn't choose a degree that fit them best, or the degree told them they didn't fit best, even though they really wanted it and they had the chance to transfer to a different one. Or maybe major life change happened. And so they look at that debt not only as the debt, but they look at it for what it represents. And for many people, that brings very negative emotions. They also look at what it represents for what it prevents them from being able to do today.
Yeah.
They look at it and say, that is dead money, and I can't do anything with that debt. I can't sell my degree. I mean, I guess you could try. I mean, I'm
not sure who's going to buy
it. But like, it's not like a piece of real estate. Like many people got enough student loan debt that it would go a long ways towards a first-time home purchase. Yet they don't have a house.
Yeah.
They don't have equity. They can get out of it. And so it reminds them of where they are now. And so it has emotions with it. And for still others, it not only reminds them of their past, of their college career, of what it looks like right now, but also what they feel like it's preventing them from being able to do in the future. And so I want to help everyone who's listening, who has student loans, who felt like they've stuck around a little too long, to be able to break up with them more rapidly so that you can put the moment the student loan is gone, you get to break up with all those emotions. I would encourage you to break up with the emotions today, but it's easier said than done when you still have to make the payment every month.
Yeah.
So luckily, during the coronavirus outbreak pandemic, right now, you have the ability to pay no interest on federal student loans, but many people have private student loans. That doesn't do anything to help them. Many of them are not being charged interest during this time. That doesn't do anything for people with private loans, and a bunch of people finance their student loans through private lenders. So I want to tell you some ways that seem very basic, but let's help people through them. So let's go through what's number one.
Yes. So the first one is pay extra every month.
Now this files under, as a kid, we said, no duh, right? When something was so obvious.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah, thank you, Captain Obvious. Pay extra every month. Now watch this. If you have $40,000 in student loans at 6.8%, you have a 20-year repayment plan, that's pretty common. That's a $305 a month payment. By paying just 20% extra a month, $61 extra, that cuts the repayment period by 69 months, 5 years and 9 months.
That's significant.
So watch this. A 20% increase in your payment reduced the repayment period by more than 25%. If you pay 50% extra per period, which is $152.50, so $457 a month, it cuts the repayment period by 119 months, just 1 month short of 10 years.
Shoo.
It cuts it in half. So increase your payment by 50%, cut the repayment period in half. Get fired up.
Yeah.
So I encourage you to use the early payoff calculator to see what progress you could make by cutting out some expenses. Because I have so many people say, tell me how to pay off my student loans faster without paying extra. Okay, well, we'll talk about that in a minute about interest and everything. But there really is no magic tip other than pay extra.
Yeah.
There's nothing more powerful than paying extra. And so how do you do that? Well, let me give you some ideas. One of them is eliminate an expense that is in your life right now and redirect that money towards your student loan.
Yeah.
Many of us have found out we don't need Starbucks every day. Redirect that coffee money towards your student loan payment. It might not seem like a lot, but when you add it up a month, is it $60 a month? That can go a long ways. It's $720 a year. Add up over 10 years, it's kind of like $7,200. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eliminate Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime. No, not that one. No, whatever it is. Right? But how many subscriptions can one person have?
Yeah.
You know, Pandora, Spotify. I don't know what they all are. But the average person has 9 of these. Eliminate one. Have a side gig or a job or a side hustle that earns extra income, and put that income towards your student loan and say, the reason I'm doing this extra work is to pay off my student loans faster. So I know people who buy and sell stuff and they make money on the difference. They buy it cheap, sell it high on Amazon or Facebook Marketplace, whatever it might be, and they can use that to pay extra every month. And they've done it, and they back off of it once they get rid of the debt they're trying to pay off, or they funded the vacation if that's what it's for.
Yeah. I think the important thing to think through with this one is you might be saying, like, I don't have any extra money, but we've given you a few different tips, and just remember, it's not forever. It's for now. So until this leaves, what's something that you can cut back on? What's something maybe you need to go back and listen to the episode on a spending fast, and maybe you say, for 6 months, I'm going to go on a spending fast and try to make some extra cash and save that and then put that towards a student loan. Maybe you say, like, maybe this year I only buy one new pair of shoes before school starts, or maybe, or before my kids go back to school, or whatever it is, maybe you just kind of limit some things. And it's not saying, our big thing is when you're budgeting, we're not taking the fun out of it. We want you to still live a realistic life. So, but maybe there's just some extra things you can cut out or back down on that could help you be able to reach this point.
And I think some of you who are listening think that if they're going to be around so long, why do that? You have to enjoy some life right now.
But who
and there
said
is
they
a
have
decision,
to?
but I didn't say cut out all fun. Some fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2.
Number 2 is reduce the interest rate.
Okay. So there are several ways to do this without even having to have a conversation. One of them is to automate your payments. Most lenders, student loan lenders, will lower the interest rate by 0.25% if you automate your payments. And the first thing people will react is, I won't want to automate my payments. And the reason they say that is they have no margin.
Yeah.
So this is why, yet another reason why we want you to achieve rung number 2 of the I was broke, now I'm not ladder, which is to have a month's worth of expenses in savings, because it allows you to automate payments. The reason people don't want to automate payments is they're worried that it will overdraft their account. If you have a month's worth of money saved up, you won't have that worry. Another way to do it is to roll a portion of the balance to a 0% balance transfer credit card offer. I've had people do this. Now they roll over the amount. Let's say it's an 18-month 0% balance transfer offer. They take the amount they know they can pay off extra in 18 months. They roll it over. Of course, you have to watch out for the transfer fee from the credit card, but that's a way to do it. Another way is to move the balance to another lender. Many have had their parents do this to refinance the debt for them using savings that mom and dad can't receive any interest on anymore. Think about it. Mom and dad used to be able to count on 3 to 5% interest on their savings. Now, the best they can get is like 1.15% maybe.
Yeah.
So what if you did a deal and said, hey, I'm paying 6.8% on my loans. Mom and dad, hey, if you'll pay them off, I'll sign a loan agreement with you. We can have a witness present and $40,000 and I'll pay you 3%. Mom and dad are going to be stoked to get 3%.
Yeah.
And so it's something to think about. And then, of course, repay mom and dad timely. Make it automatic. And another way is to consolidate high-interest student loans to lower interest ones using something like SoFi. But be sure to keep your low-interest loans, some of them are like 2.8% or less, keep those out of the consolidation. That's the big mistake a lot of people make is they end up rolling in the lower-interest ones too. And so that's a big deal. Okay? So it's pay extra, lower the interest, and then, of course, we have some other programs that exist. List what those are.
Yes. So the first one is IBR, which is income-based repayment.
Yep. And the income-based repayment plan is based upon your income, just like it sounds. And so the payment adjusts as your income goes up, or if it goes down, it will adjust the payment that you owe as well. Of course, most of those programs, the way it works is if you pay on time, every time without fail or without being late for 20 years, whatever remains at the end, the government will wipe out for you. But they make you pay it for 20 years. I would much rather get some hustle on and pay it off in 5 years and know I repaid every dollar I borrowed.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it was gone.
Romans 13:8. Let no debt remain outstanding except the continuing debt to love one another. In other words, pay it all back. Okay? And then another program is the what?
It's the pay as you earn program.
Yep. And so it's PAYE, pay as you earn program. And we're going to have a link to that in the show notes that shows you different things if your income has really been decimated. Okay? I want to finish this by going on a rant of sorts. Is that okay? It's kind of a kind one, but I'm going to listen, podcast listener, I'm going to go off a little bit here. The number one way to speed up student loan repayment is to actually get serious about it. To stop dilly-dallying, stop playing around. Just because you have a 20-year repayment period doesn't mean you should take 20 years to do it.
Yeah.
Now, look, I dilly-dallied for the first few years. Finally, I just said, I had enough of this. I'm not going to do this the rest of my life. I've got other things coming down the pike. Kiddo showed up. I want to be able to buy a car for my kid as opposed to saying I'm still paying student loans for my kid. That I'm paying student loans when my kid goes to college. This is a problem. This means you have not prioritized it. And so you got to get serious about it. And you know what? Once I got serious, I paid mine off in 14 months because I got some side hustle on. I cut some expenses and I got serious about it. I forewent things that I really wanted to do so that I could become debt-free of my student loans. So many people graduate college knowing they owe a lot of money, but they get a job, they get income. It's more money they've ever made in their life. And what do?
Spend it.
They run out and spend it. They get the house, they get the 2 cars, they get the boat, the motorcycle, the thing they've always wanted, that look at me, I got a degree, I'm going to treat me. It's treat yourself time, as Parks and Rec would say. And as a result, they forget they owe on their student loans, and then they get angry that they have student loans.
Yeah.
And when you look at their financial chaos, and I have looked at a lot of financial chaos in my life, one-on-one in the eyes, and you guys know it. And they literally are so mad at their student loans, and they view the student loans as a problem. I'm like, what about this car and that huge cell phone bill and this huge house that's way more than you needed and more than you could afford, this boat, this motorcycle, this thing, that thing, the furniture loan. You owe your mom and dad. Come on, get with it. Resist the urge. Focus. Focus. It does not pay off by hocus pocus. It pays off by focus pocus. Use these words in your vocabulary. No, wait, and later. Anyone who has achieved freedom from their student loan debt can point to moments where they chose to sacrifice something they wanted right then so they could continue their journey to becoming free of their debt. And so I finish with a verse, and that is from Proverbs 22:7, that says, "The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender." It's not a rule. It's just merely an observation of a fundamental rule, is that the rich will rule over the poor. It's a fact. Do you want to be one of the rich, or do you want to be one of the poor? Because it has always been this way. It will never change. And as a result, it doesn't say you have to be greedy, selfish, and beat up on the poor. It just says those who are poor, those who are in debt, have literally handed over the reins of their life. Because guess who's getting rich? The person you're paying interest to. And so I strongly encourage you, break up with your student loan debt. And it starts with a decision today to decide that you're done paying for those student loans and that you're going to make them leave your life.
Yep. And we're not saying having a house is bad, having a car is bad, but there's an order to the way that things should be done, kind of like the same way we've laid out the I was broke, now I'm not ladder. There's steps, there's rungs that we feel like can help you achieve financial freedom in the best way. And so for this, being able to pay off these student loans quickly is going to free you up to be able to do all these other things and be able to be more generous and be able to prosper more and live that fully funded life that we really want you to be able to live. And so it's not that we're saying like, because you have student loans, this is bad. Like, it's the boat that you're in. So pick up pick up the oar. Yeah. And start rowing.
And listen, if you get a little side job that starts humming, maybe it'll feel like a boat motor helping you out.
Yeah.
But we want you to become debt-free of these student loans, because having that payment every single month is just it's just a hole in the bathtub draining all the water away.
Yeah.
All of your opportunity is leaving you.
And maybe you need to write down somewhere in a visible spot what you want to do when that money leaves.
There you go.
So when you're not paying that student loan payment anymore, what are you going to do with the extra $300?
Yeah, what is the reward?
What's your why?
What is the bonus? What is the why?
Leave that somewhere where you see it and you're able to say
Sounds like 2020 money book.
Maybe I'll include a link. Okay, so for our next episode, it's going to be a good one. We're going to talk about investing 101. So the number one most confusing financial topic for those we serve is investing. Not budgeting, not saving, debt reduction, giving, or earning. It's investing that troubles, confuses, and maddens the best of us. So we're going to break down investing to the very basics in next week's episode.
That's right. And because you can invest in a lot of things, we're actually going to focus on stock market investing. That's the number one question we get. So listen, we hope you have a great Monday. If you like today's episode, please help us get this podcast to other people who could benefit. You can do this by quickly rating our podcast and leaving a review. These ratings and reviews will help us making our podcast better for our listeners and for others to discover it. If you have implemented one of our tips, please share your success stories with us by emailing it to info@iwbnin.com. That's info@iwbnin.com. Or you can share it with us on any of our social media platforms. Do you have any last words to share with everybody today?
We cannot wait till you call us and say that those student loan payments are gone.
Yeah, you broke up with Sally Mae, Nelnet, Great Lakes Servicing, Federal Direct Loans, or any of those private lenders. We want you to be debt-free. Get fired up.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.